Welcome to Breaking Solo, how solopreneurs break barriers, build brands, and embrace the future of business.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us again today for Breaking Solo. I have a wonderful guest today, Jillian Anderson. Jillian, would you please tell the audience a little about yourself?
Sure, happy to. Thank you, Donna, for having me. As Donna said, my name is Jillian Anderson. I own a company called OYS Coaching. And what I do is I help coach small business owners and entrepreneurs through the overwhelm of running their business day to day and balancing that with work and life. And my greatest joy is to help people build a life that they design, which is just so much fun to do.
That's awesome. Definitely awesome. So tell me, did you always know that you were going to be a solopreneur, or did you pivot from something else?
Well, that's interesting. So I didn't. I think I've always known that I never really accepted status quo when I was growing up of how people said life was supposed to go, right? You know, you go to school, you go to college, you get your job, if you're lucky, you find the job that you get to have until you retire and you build a family and that, right? And while that's all amazing, I just knew it wasn't what I wanted. So I actually started down the law school path thinking I was going to be a lawyer. And I had some health issues showed up, which caused me to take stock of what I really wanted from my life. And I pivoted actually into getting my real estate license. So for a long time, I built my own business selling real estate, owned real estate franchises, things like that, which fed that solo spirit. And about 5 years ago, I started saying, no, this isn't quite it either. And I started coaching other realtors. And then I started this business about a year ago to really go and branch out past that. And so I think I've always had the spirit for it. It just took me a while to maybe establish what exactly it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in real estate for 14 years. I sold for 4 and then I managed. And that was when I got my coaching certification in 2002 because I said, I need something to help motivate these people to go to work.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And that was kind of the same thing. It started as a way to support my agents and it kind of turned into, I think my heart is here. Okay, let's go.
Sure. Okay. So have you ever faced a moment where you thought, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore? I'm going to change my mind.
No, not yet, I guess I would say. I definitely showed up in my real estate career. It has not shown up in the coaching career. Yeah, I think it's because I really believe this is my calling. And now that doesn't mean it's been easy and, sunshine and roses. It's definitely had its challenges and its obstacles, and it's forced me to look inside and say, where do I need to show up different? How do I need to be different in order to serve my goals and make sure I'm serving my clients at the highest level? And yet am very clear on this is my calling and that's what I want to do. I'm going to do.
Awesome. So have you had any big challenges that you had to overcome?
Yeah, right now it's technology. As I've started this part of my business, as I was coaching inside my real estate organization, technology really wasn't a factor because my pool of people was just there to lean on and resource. So lead generation for that part of my business looked really different because it came more through the real estate brand. As I built out the independent brand and my actual coaching business, lead generation looks a lot different than it did 20 years ago. And so that's been my biggest obstacle is getting through understanding where are the clients at and where do I need to go to meet them. And that's been really fascinating and interesting to learn. And as I talk to my clients that I'm coaching now, I'm noticing some of that in those of us of a certain age are showing that for us, right? I have to do this social media thing or I need to go build these funnel. What's a funnel? What? Kind of learning through all of that has been really interesting and I'm getting it. I don't think I've perfected it yet, but that's been my biggest challenge is where do I go to do that? Yeah.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah. It'll show up. It's all fine. I gotta hire people smarter than me to do it.
Yeah, that's the answer. You don't need to be doing it all anyway.
That's right. That's right.
So do you have a unique niche that you serve?
Yeah. So for me, it's really, I think my ideal client, if we're kind of packaging it that way, is someone that It tends to be women, though it's not exclusive to women. Though I think that there's something that we connect with that, in that, 25 to 55 age range, where we are working to build a life and building our own brands and building on our own businesses, and also needing to answer to the day-to-days of our families or our obligations that way. And really coming with women that have just this heart to serve, and they feel to overwhelm a little too easily. So it's really an independent business owner or a small business owner mindset that's balancing the day-to-days of their family with building a life that they want, and also accommodating their business at the same time. Yeah.
And is there a strategy or something that you do differently that sets you apart from the competition?
Yeah. So I think my gift is taking big ideas and breaking them down into bite-sized pieces and building benchmarks from that, and then taking those benchmarks and making them actionable items in a day-to-day schedule. So, really one of the questions I start with when I'm meeting somebody the first time is, okay, great. Where are you looking to go? And let's go really, really big. If you could draw a picture of whatever it is they're trying to do looks like in the next 5 or 10 years, what does that look like? Okay, great. Now let's back that into bite-sized benchmarks, and let's build a very intentional plan around getting it the first benchmark in the next 6 months or 12 months or whatever timeline fits in with what we're doing. And then we take that and we build that into their schedule, and understanding what amount of hours during the day do you have to actually commit to this and develop it. And then let's build those actionable, very specific items into that schedule, so that you don't miss what you're doing and still have time to do what you need to do for yourself, for self-care, for your family, for all those things.
So, do you see any shifts happening that could change the way that solopreneurs work in the future?
Yeah, I think the biggest one that we're all learning how to wrap our arms around right now is AI, and how does that play into our businesses. It's interesting because I think there's a little anxiety in the world about what AI can do for us, and they're going to replace this or replace that. And I don't know whether that's true or not. I mean, that's again people that are different educated than I am. What I do know though is that I think it's going to allow us that are solopreneurs or small business owners be able to have a broader reach faster than maybe we've had before. Where, use for an example, kind of back to where technology is kind of how we lead generate for our businesses is looking different, right? Well, I was thinking, okay, I've got to build my content, and now I need to be on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and then I've got to write the things and I've got to post the stuff, and then I have to build a way that people can get to me. And how do I do that? Well, I can put all of this is what I want to do into Chat GPT, and all of a sudden I have a full outline and stuff to do. And my job that I thought was going to take me 3 days to do took me 30 minutes to do, right? Well, I think for those of us that have that spirit of being a solo business owner or a small business owner, we are going to be able to have a bigger reach that maybe a bigger organization had over us because they had the money and the time and the resources. We're going to be able to do that now, which I think is going to allow us to move faster in what we're doing, which also I think means that we're going to see more people enter that type of business than go look for the corporate job to feed their families. Because how many people want to control their time and money? Like 80-90%, right?
All of us.
Right? Everybody. And that's always the thing we're looking at. I mean, even if you go back to real estate, what was the thing when you were meeting with new agents? I want to be my own boss and I want to control my time, right? That is consistent. It doesn't matter what your product is. It is consistent across the board.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So, do you have a tool or an app, a resource that you just can't live without?
It's going to sound really simple, but it's my Google Calendar. I cannot live without that thing. I live and die by my Google Calendar. And I have taught my staff, I have taught my family, if it is not there, it does not exist, and it is not happening. So, absolutely. Yeah.
And then, do you have any books or courses or mentors that have had a big impact on your success?
Yeah, that's a great question. I am highly learning based, and so I'm always out there learning. But I think some of the ones that have made the most influence in my life. There's three that I would point to right out of the bat. One is John Maxwell. I don't know if you're familiar with who John Maxwell is. Yeah, so I became one of his certified coaches in 2014. His book, the 21 Laws of Leadership, has had an immense impact on me and how I led and built businesses over the last 20 years. And I had the privilege to coach with him for a year, and his voice is like still in my head of things that he's taught me, and you'll hear him in a lot of the things, a lot of my content as I go. Dave Ramsey is another one that's had a huge influence on me and how he looks at money and how he looks at standards for his team and his business. Huge. And then the third one, and it's very personal, is my former business partner. His name is Rick Vanderbiden, and he has had such an impact on my life just in so many ways. And he is still someone that I can go to this day and be like, hey, I'm working through something. Can we talk it out? I just texted him the other day about something else, and he called me. He's like, are you okay? Is everything good? I'm like, oh no, I was just calling to chat. Like, I'm fine. But it's just like he's that person that I can consistently rely on for that. But I also felt like Simon Sinek and Mel Robbins, and just there's Jocko. Like, there's just so many amazing people that we can go and learn from. Disney is a big influence on my life and how I look at leadership and building brands and businesses. Just awesome. Yeah.
Great. Those are some great resources. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so solopreneurs, we face mindset issues, staying focused, staying productive. Do you have habits that you do daily or almost daily that helps with those things?
Yeah, I find that routine is a big way to help keep a lot of that at bay. So again, kind of you asked about my calendar is a big part of that. And it's a very organic thing for me. So I will make sure that everything's in there, and I make it as consistent as I can so that for the most part, I'm following a similar schedule every single day. And I work really hard to keep my weekends to myself and like Friday afternoons to myself. Like, this is the last thing I'll do today. And, I'll kind of be done for today so that I can turn off. And I would say that works really consistently 80% of the time. There are always stressors, right, that are going to show up, whether it's in our professional life, which then can impact us to that we might bring that home, or our personal life, which we might bring to work, right? And so when I find myself really in a place of where I cannot seem to shift fast through whatever's going on, I go and get myself near the water. It doesn't matter if it's a pool, a lake, a river, a beach, whatever. I've got to get myself near the water, and I have to get clear and centered. That's where I feel closest to God and that's my faith. And I just turn everything off for 24 hours. And I find when I do that, I can allow my brain to process whatever it's been trying to process, and the stress goes down, and I'm ready to go.
Good to go again. That's
And
good.
that's going to be different for everybody. And I encourage my clients that what's the thing that brings you closest to feeling like you? That's what you need to go do when you can't not seem to shift through the stress fast enough.
Yeah. For me, it's meditation.
It's got their piece, right?
Yep. So, what's one piece of advice that you would give someone that's just starting their solopreneur journey?
Build a team of one or two people around you that you feel absolutely safe to be vulnerable with. Share your goals, share your dreams, accept feedback, and then know that that's your army. Because as you're building your dreams, you're going to have days that are hard, and you need to have that army behind you. And I would recommend one of those people is a coach. That coach that's going to lean in and come alongside you and take you by the hand and say, we got this.
Good advice. So, if you could go back and do one thing differently, what would it be?
That's a really big question. Like, in my business,
Yes, in your business.
I have started my independent coaching business earlier. Yeah, I think that, hindsight's 2020. And I think if I'd had it going during COVID, I could have helped a lot of people that were really struggling during that time. And I feel like I missed an opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any exciting new projects or launches that are coming up?
Yeah, I am launching in May, the beginning of a webinar series that we'll be doing 2 webinars a month starting in May. They'll be free and out there to anybody that would like to participate. And we're going to run the gamut from understanding communication styles and building intentional businesses and choosing happy. Like I've got a whole series ready to go. So that'll be launching May 1st is the first one. Yeah.
I did that this year as well. I only am doing one webinar a month, but yeah, I have a series set up as well. That's great. So how do people connect with you and learn more about you?
yscoaching.com has a way to reach out and connect with us on there. And I do a free 30-minute consultation for anyone that just wants to chat about what might be a good fit. All of our products and services are on there. My contact information's on there. So that's a great way to reach out to me.
And her website will be in the show notes. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a blast.
Yes, I appreciate your time for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.